18 or 19, I used to go to this barbershop in Ridgewood called Street Gang. Shout out Street Gang. That was the name. That's the name of the barbershop in Ridgewood, Queens, or in Glendale, Queens.
Did you is that where you got your faux hawk?
Yeah, it's where I got my faux hawk at Street Gang. Shout out Street Gang. I think it's still open. It definitely is still open because the owner of the barbershop, Street Gang, just posts videos every day of him fucking hammered cutting people's hair. I mean, he's like drunk off that coquito poppy like you can't imagine, and he's cutting people's hair. And one time I was getting a haircut, and my barber, I forgot the guy's name, was great, but he was like high as shit cutting my hair, and he zeked me. He like zeked my head where I had like and I had pretty long hair, and I had like a line going through my head, and I looked like I just came out of brain surgery. But he was like, yo, Pa, listen, man, I'm gonna have to shave it, and there's really no other choice. And I was being I was 18, 19-year-old kid. I didn't want him to shave it, but he shaved my head. He just shaved my head.
It had to be Hennessy.
Huh?
It had to be Hennessy.
What do you mean it had to be Hennessy?
It wasn't Coquito. It was probably Hennessy.
Why was it not Coquito?
Because it's usually Hennessy.
It's usually Hennessy?
I'm telling you.
By the way, that's being said by a Puerto Rican person. So she's saying that, not me. I don't know. I'm saying whatever that man was drinking was whatever it was to him was near and dear to him. But she is assuming it was Hennessy, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. Canceled. So speaking of Hennessy, I had Vinny's Puerto Rican family clean out my apartment. I had Vinny's. Here's the thing. Let me explain this. So obviously, I've been with Vinny for 7 years. We have a great relationship. We've had our ups and downs, and but I'm always coming back to Vinny. I'm always the vegan Valentine's Day is for Vinny. I'm always coming back to Vinny. And when I had to clean out my apartment that I just closed on a couple of days ago, Vinny suggested, why don't you let my family clean it out? You won't have to pay like a cleaning crew, like just give them a couple of $100 so they could go buy Hennessy, and that'll be fine. So I said, absolutely. What's the worst that can happen? I'll just have Vinny's family do it, and I won't be worried. So I let Vinny's family and I let Vinny's T.O. and TT in, but TT was a TO but converted to a TT in prison. So TT, which by the way, that TT Jerry is going to be coming on the podcast as a guest. This show is going to be like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, but the people that are coming in from my neighborhood are going to be a little different. So the first guest we're going to have is TT Jerry, who couldn't come on today because he had an appointment with his parole officer, but she will be coming on next week, and that will be our first guest is TT Jerry, who just got her new fake tits, and when he got out of prison, the first thing he did was ask Jasmine for her clothes. So that's TT Jerry.
That is true.
That is true. Yeah. That is true. And TT Jerry, we love you so much. You're going to come on the podcast, and it's going to be great. And you're going to tell us stories from prison and how you overcame things, and just like what a powerful new woman you are.
No, he's going to talk about dropping the soap.
He's going to talk about dropping the soap?
Yeah.
All right. Well, whatever TT wants to talk about, we support TT. So anyway, TT Jerry, and then T.O., and then another Tia go to my apartment and start cleaning. And, you know, I opened the door for them, and I had left clothes there that I didn't want in garbage bags. And I said, hey, there's bags of clothes in garbage bags. You guys can take whatever you'd like, look through them, take whatever you want. And TT Jerry is looking through the bags of clothes, and he goes, yo, you don't have any clothes from your girl? You only got men's clothes here? What about the girl's clothes? I'm like, she doesn't have any of her clothes here. He goes, okay, well, I'm going to come by later and get some of her clothes then, because I don't want this. I was like, okay. And then he was like, you know what? Maybe on second thought, I could dress my man up in these clothes. I was like, okay, take whatever you want. So everything's going fine, and they're cleaning the shit out of this apartment. I picked up the BABI. You know, I took Vinny to, 10,000 pregnancy appointments. I went and got salmon from ALC. Shout out ALC Italian Grocery in Bay Ridge. I went and got salmon to get my omega-3s, put it in my FitnessPal app. Then all of a sudden I get a frantic call from Vinny. She says, you have to run to my apartment. You have to run back to your apartment. My Tia just had a heart attack. So I was like, what? Tia just had a heart attack. I don't have the keys even to get into my apartment. So we're getting over to the apartment. I'm there at the front door. Me and Vinny are there. We don't have the keys to get in. Finally, we get in. One of her tias was having not a heart attack, a panic attack from cleaning the floors too hard, that she had pain in her chest up into her throat. The EMTs come over, and they give like the EKG, and they're like, "You're fine, lady," but she's like, "No, you don't understand, Daddy Yankee. Dame más gasolina, Santeria. I have to pray. No, I don't understand. Mi corazón, mi corazón." Just yelling in Spanish, yelling to the saints, telling us to, she's like, "Please, like give away my possessions." I'm like, "Okay, what do you own?" She's like, 2 chancletas and some adobo. I'm like, "Okay, we'll give all that away. We'll give all that away. We'll divvy up your possessions." I'm like, "Would you like to invest in Bitcoin? If you're gonna go out, we could take the remaining of your savings and invest in Bitcoin." And she's like, "Okay." She's like, "I bank with Banco Popular." I'm like, "Of course." And so the EMTs take her out. They take her out, and I'm thinking like this woman just had a heart attack. Like literally, we were closing 12 hours later the next day. I'm like, now is like, if this woman dies in my house, like, is now the house haunted, and I'm not going to get to close, and I'm not going to invest in the Bitcoin. But thank God she was okay. It was genuinely.
That's what you think about when my aunt is having a heart attack?
No, that's not what I was thinking about when T was having a heart attack. I'm saying because she's fine in retrospect, I was thinking about if this house is haunted now, I'm not going to get the same value for it. So if she was going to die, I would prefer if she died in the hallway. No, but
That's not even funny.
I'm just kidding. Tia was okay, and then TT Jerry was in the ambulance with my keys in his pocket. So all of a sudden, the ambulance is pulling away like woo woo woo, and I'm like, "Where's my keys?" The ambulance comes to a full stop, and TT Jerry jumps out tits first, running, goes, "I got your keys, boo!" And he gives me my keys, and then he just runs away. And as he was running away and stepping him into the ambulance, I saw one of what looks like Vinny's old thongs popping out of the top of the jeans, and then the door shut.
No.
Yes.
That's not true.
That is true. Yes, it is. I didn't tell you that. But it's that thong that I really thought you looked hot in last Valentine's Day is on TT Jerry's ass. And I'm going to tell him to wear it next week when he's the first guest on Chrissy Chaos.